Good morning. Today is Monday, January 13th. This is Wake Up with KERA News, and I'm Andrew Garcia. It's feeling a lot warmer this week than last week. We'll have the sun shining and highs in the low 50s today. Then tonight, lows drop to around 30 degrees with a slight breeze. At-home tests for colon cancer can be effective.
These tests are generally pretty good at identifying cancer. But remember, we want to identify those patients before they get cancer.
We'll get into how at-home tests measure up to colonoscopies. But first, today's headlines. The chief deputy who helped the Dallas County Jail pass inspections has left to help Tarrant County's jail. Shannon Herklotz also previously worked at Harris County's troubled jail, but spent most of his career at the Texas Jail Standards Agency. Dallas County hopes to fill the vacant position by spring. A new Texas A&M report shows rural Texas counties are short on criminal defense attorneys to represent low-income clients. And there are more and more defendants who can't afford legal help specifically for felonies. The Texas Indigent Defense Commission wants lawmakers to spend about $9 million of state revenue to attract lawyers to rural public defense work. The Texas legislature is back in session tomorrow. Colonoscopies are considered the gold standard for detecting colorectal cancer. Some dread the idea of the invasive procedure and the prep required the day before you have it. The FDA last year approved at-home blood and stool tests for the disease, but are they a match for colonoscopies? KERA's Sam Bekah talked about this in today's Vital Signs with Dr. Amit Desai, a gastroenterologist with Texas Health Presbyterian Dallas.
The basic FIT test actually tests for human blood in the stool. And if it meets a certain amount of human blood in the stool, it flips positive. The multi-targeted stool DNA test, Cologuard, also tests blood in the stool as well, but it also tests for specific forms of DNA associated with colon cancer and advanced polyps. Either of those test positive, it's recommended that patient get a colonoscopy. The blood test, which is the Shield test, tends to be better at identifying cancer itself. So if that test is positive, it's more commonly in patients who may already have cancer. The sensitivity of that test is about 13% for polyps or advanced polyps, so it's not as good at looking at polyps. But that is performed with just a simple blood test. And again, if that turns positive, that patient absolutely should get a colonoscopy.
Can they confirm colorectal cancer, or do they merely suggest the possibility of it?
These tests are generally pretty good at identifying cancer. But remember, colon cancer is a potentially preventable cancer. We want to identify those patients who have high-risk lesions like polyps or advanced polyps before they get cancer. FIT and Cologuard, which are those stool tests, they're okay at picking up polyps. They're still not perfect at picking up polyps or advanced polyps. They're pretty good at identifying cancer. And that's similarly with the blood test as well. The blood test is decent at picking up cancer, but be careful because only about 83% in that big study of patients, and you look at the sensitivity of that test, flipped positive when they looked for those patients who had cancer. So a sensitivity of a test tells you that how comfortable you can be to trust that that test is negative, right? So if you get a Shield test or the blood test done and that test comes back negative, you're comfortable about 83% of the time. That also means 17-ish% of the time you're not comfortable. You could have cancer and that test came back negative. So you have to keep that in context when we look at the overall picture here. Is our goal for this is to prevent cancer. And if your Shield test is positive, it's pretty good at picking up cancer, but we may be too late at that point.
These tests don't replace or can't replace colonoscopies?
The ideal and best test overall is a colonoscopy because we can find polyps or adenomas and remove them from a patient to prevent that patient from ever getting cancer itself.
Then is the advantage of the spit and shield tests that maybe it might encourage more people to screen for colon cancer?
It's for those patients who, A, can't do a colonoscopy or won't do a colonoscopy. B, it's not easy to do a stool test either. It's not fun to say, let me go test my stool and send it off. And so at least something is getting done, because you're starting to catch people who aren't able to get a colonoscopy, aren't able to do the stool test. They're doing something. And if those patients, those turn positive, they're then getting their colonoscopy. I want to stress that colon cancer is a potentially preventable, treatable, curable cancer. So if with colonoscopy, we can prevent. If with the stool test and colonoscopy combined, if let's say we do find cancer, we can, if it's early stage, we can treat and cure cancer. So, it's over 45, getting a test done is the most important thing for that individual.
That was Dr. Amit Desai, a gastroenterologist with Texas Health Presbyterian Dallas, speaking with KERA's Sam Baker. The Texas Longhorns lost on Friday night to the Ohio State Buckeyes 28-14 in the Cotton Bowl Classic, coming up one game short of the national championship. UT lost on a heartbreaking fumble by quarterback Quinn Ewers in the red zone that was returned 83 yards for a Buckeyes touchdown. Despite the tough loss, the Longhorns had a strong season and can hang their hat on being the sole SEC team that made it as far as the CFP semifinal, despite it being their first year in the conference. In other Texas sports news, both the Dallas Mavericks and Stars lost yesterday. Mavs 112-101, Stars 2-3. Bart Weiss has been a pillar for the video scene in North Texas. He taught at UTA, was a founder of the Dallas Video Festival, and producer for KERA TV. Now the gallery at UTA launches a retrospective highlighting nearly 50 years of his work. The exhibition, called Video Y'all, opens today and is on view through January 25th. For more information and other fun things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. There you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter written by Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.